Welcome to Tales from the Fandom, a podcast that brings a special guest out of the multiverse and straight to you. And now your host, David Ginsburg.
Welcome to a special edition of Tales from the Fandom. This is the Wrestlemania edition. This is Wrestlemania 2017. I believe it is Wrestlemania 33. It is in Orlando, Florida, which is the home of Tales from the Fandom. And joining me today is previous guest from episode 13 from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, Tali. Welcome back to the podcast, Tali.
It is so nice to be back. Thanks for having me.
You know, when I first was thinking about doing a WrestleMania special, especially because it's here in Orlando, and let me tell you that the WrestleMania weekend has already kicked off as of yesterday.
Oh, I bet it's crazy down there.
It is. There's not only like the WWE wrestling, there's Ring of Honors here, WrestleCon is happening.
Yes, I heard about Ring of Honor. That card is actually WrestleMania worthy.
I know. There is a lot of stuff. The Superstars started doing their hospital visits yesterday. There are meet and greets all over the place. Access starts tomorrow, I believe, or it started today. I'm not too sure. Unfortunately, I'm not going to any of the WrestleMania events unless I happen to stumble upon them. You know, it came down to money, and there's some conventions coming up that I'd like to see some of the guests that are coming there. So
fair enough. It's not cheap. It's really not cheap.
No, even access is like $50. I think it's about $55 for a 4-hour window.
Wow, that's like an entire weekend at a convention.
Right.
But is it worth it? I feel like it might actually be worth it.
I think it would be worth it. I think this is going to be one of those things where if Orlando ever gets another WrestleMania, I'll have to plan on attending this next time.
Well, I've heard that they're locked into a deal for several years.
Well, they might be.
So,
there's been talks of having a Hall of Fame built in Orlando for WWE since the Performance Center is here.
Oh, wow.
But we shall see. Now, I asked you on because you have a special interest. You're a special guest. Not only are you a wrestling fan, but I mean you're coming from the heart of like Stampede Wrestling, the Heart Foundation.
Yep.
You're the perfect guest to have on, and you're Canadian.
Oh, thank you.
So you know.
Thank you so much. I love wrestling. As you all know, if you haven't listened to the previous podcast that I was on already, I am still a very recent baby fan of wrestling. But having been in it for a few years now, I feel like I have more pride in where I come from now because of the Hart family and because of Stampede Wrestling. I just wish that I had been into it sooner so that I could have seen those things when they were here. Absolutely.
And the last time we talked right before SummerSlam. The brand split had happened. The draft had come about. Your guy at the time, Finn Balor, was going to be competing for the Universal Championship.
My man, Finn Balor.
And I remember sending you an email, congratulating you that night. Finn picked up the Universal Championship.
I was just looking at that.
and the next day it was, he got injured during that match, and the landscape changed. We were talking before we started about how different it is at this point now that we're talking from that point. Almost about 9 months ago, give or take.
Yeah, I think if you really want to talk about WrestleMania, that is the pinpoint place to start where everything changed. When Finn got hurt, I think that everything changed, and if he hadn't gotten hurt, we would be in a very different timeline right now.
Mm-hmm. Not only Finn, but then Seth Rollins gets hurt a few months.
And my man Seth.
Yep.
It's like I'm cursed, really.
You are cursed.
I'm cursed. Everyone that I like ends up hurt. So I'm just not going to like anyone anymore. Good luck to everyone who I'm supporting for WrestleMania.
All right. So we've got like this mega card. This is probably one of the best WrestleMania cards that I've seen in a long time. There's a few matches that you squint your eyes at a little bit, but overall it seems like a solid card. So I'm good. Let's just get right into it. We're going to start with the pre-show matches first. And the first one I'm going to talk about is a match that I think should not even be on the pre-show because of how solid this division has been, which is the SmackDown Women's division. I think while you have Charlotte and Bayley and Sasha and Nia Jax over on the Raw side, the SmackDown women have been amazing ever since the brand split.
They really are. They really are great. Like, they're so beyond the women's Raw roster that it's just not even funny.
So, announced in the match right now is Mickie James, Natalya, Alexa Bliss, who's the champion, Becky Lynch, Carmella, and the returning Naomi, who came back on Tuesday, which was a bit of a surprise.
That was awesome.
I almost wish that they had held it for WrestleMania, but I understand to add her in, and I'm still not sure if they're still going with the every available woman route. So let's talk about these six, and who do you think is going to come out on top? They've said it's a six-pack challenge match. I'm not sure how they're going to do it, if it's going to be an elimination match, which I think it's going to be. But who do you think is going to take the championship, or is Alexa going to retain on her first WrestleMania?
I think that it could really... This is a really kind of throw-up match where... It really could be any of them because they are so good. However, I am on Team Naomi. And
okay.
I think that she is the strongest competitor out of all of them. I think that she has the best endurance. I think she has the best moves. I think that she could easily come out on top because not only did she already have it and she had to give it back. People want to see her in that role. People want to see her so much that's why I actually think that they brought her back the week early. Is because it's a kickoff show, so they obviously want you to tune into this. Well, what better way to make you tune in to bring back Naomi, the person that everybody's wanted back for so long? So I'd love to see Naomi win. Personally, she's my favorite, followed by Natalya, of course. But
okay.
I just don't think that Natalya has what it takes anymore to even see the likes of Becky Lynch or Naomi. And honestly, Alexa is good. She's just not my favorite. She is very heel to me. She's a great heel, and I hate her for it.
I was just going to say.
Want her to retain.
I was just going to say, I was listening to another wrestling podcast, and they specifically had said that Alexa Bliss is probably the best heel in the company on either show. So, yeah, I love her.
She is a great heel, honestly. She has a great look. She has a great gimmick. I'm just not into it. I just don't like her because she's playing to those things that I don't like.
Right.
So it's working, but I think there might be a chance that she retains, but because she's had it so long and, you bring back Naomi, it just doesn't make sense to keep it on her right now.
And Naomi is from Orlando, so
she
would be a hometown win, but they always tend to screw the hometown people over.
Exactly. In typical WWE fashion, you always lose in your hometown.
Yes. Sasha Banks lost in Boston.
Yes.
Back in the day against Charlotte, so that was something.
Yep.
Okay, so now
it's really a toss-up on this one. I really do not know who it's going to be, but I can tell you who it's not going to be. It will not be Mickie James.
Yeah, I can. Mickie James is there to enhance everyone while giving credibility to the division.
That was the part where I'm like, this is the part of wrestling history that I have no knowledge of. And to me, Mickie James does not bring any credibility. She doesn't bring anything new to the table. She doesn't bring anything of any sort to the table for me.
Right.
Because the other girls are already so good. So I just think that bringing her in was sort of a weird move. But, there are fans of her, so that's just me.
Now, do you expect, if they go beyond the 6 people that they've announced, because they originally had said it's, every available woman.
Right.
Is there somebody you'd like to see either show up in the match or win the match? I know that there was a lot of talk on the internet about Asuka coming back or coming.
That's my pick, yes.
Okay.
I've been hearing rumors that Asuka has been touring with the SmackDown crew and performing in dark matches. So, and she has nothing to do in NXT anymore. She needs to vacate the role. There's just no reason to keep her down there. So, man, if Asuka showed up out of nowhere and took it, that would seal the deal for me on SmackDown.
Now, I do want to say I was a bit disappointed because I was hoping against hope. Now, I don't really like the person I'm going to talk about, but I was really hoping that Eva Marie would show up. But
you're the second person that said that.
But from the information on the net is that they're going to be releasing her or letting her contract expire because
they should.
I think one of the stories I was reading on Bleacher Report is if she had been signed 5 or 7 years ago, she would have been perfect for the women's division.
Yeah.
But with all the talent that they have now of actual wrestlers, and I swear, she did everything that she could to get better with her training, but I think it was too little too late at that point.
It really was. And honestly, I don't know, I'm sure that there's tons of editing that goes into Total Divas and Total Bellas and whatnot, but just judging from what they show us and, TV reality, she's just not a good fit for the roster itself. She just doesn't have the passion. She doesn't have that goal-oriented behavior that everybody else does. And, the 5 seconds of footage that she showed that Total Divas showed of her training with Brian Kendrick. She just wasn't putting in the work. And, there's only so much that editing can do. So, as much as she might have trained, as much as she might have, put in a little bit of effort, I don't believe that she did everything that she could have to really get to where she needed to be because she had all of the resources necessary. She had more resources than she deserves.
Right.
So I just can't even feel bad for that, and she should be released from the roster. And she'll do awesome in something else. She's gorgeous. She'll be fine. And
she's doing movies as it is and doing other product launches, so
yeah,
it'll be all right.
Yeah, she'll do something else and she'll be way better at it. It's just not the right fit for her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on from the ladies. Your pick is Naomi, or if Asuka shows up, it'll be Asuka.
It'll definitely be Asuka if she shows up. I think there's a 90% chance that she will.
Okay. We'll see. We'll see on Sunday.
Okay.
Now, the next one that I have on my list is making its first, or no, I don't think it's its first time on the pre-show, but it's the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, a.k.a. everyone who doesn't have a real match on the card is going to be in this Battle Royal. Yes. Now, I don't know how many people are in it. It's either 20 or 30 over the top rope. Whoever wins gets the Andre the Giant statue, which they don't really do much with.
No, it kind of shows up once a year, doesn't it?
Right. We've had Cesaro took the first one, Big Show took the second, and then last year Baron Corbin took the third, which we'll get to Baron when we get to his match. But
yes,
of the 3 winners, I think Baron's been able to do the most, having won it. Who do you see taking this match? Now, some of the ones that they've announced that are in the match, Braun Strowman, Samoa Joe, Big Show, Sami Zayn. I know that Mojo Rawley's in it. There's a few others. Mm-hmm. Who do you think is going to take the Battle Royal this year?
Okay, well.
And do you care?
This is the most forgettable match of the night to me, because there's just nothing riding on it, and there's no consequences that come from it. But I see probably, I want to go with someone else, but knowing WWE, they're gonna make Braun Strowman the winner.
Okay.
So I see Braun winning because he has had such a huge push lately, and to sort of give it to someone else would be kind of a waste. Because he's supposedly unstoppable. He's a beast. He's, inhuman strength.
Right.
So I see this building to the Braun Strowman Big Show match for SummerSlam.
Okay.
I see this building to, just another storyline that they can kind of weave this into. As much as I want it to be totally someone else.
Who would you want it to be if you had that choice?
Personally, I don't care about Braun Strowman because you can't do so much. He can't do that much. Once he's done being the big bad dude, what do you do with him? There's only so much you can kind of do with him. So I would like to see someone Rhino win, maybe Bo Dallas. He needs something. I don't care what anybody says. Bo Dallas is great, and he needs something to do.
I think there was a talk at some point that Bray Wyatt, that Bray wanted to have Bo with him because they're brothers.
Yes, they're real life brothers.
Real life brothers.
Yep. I've heard that, and honestly, that would sell me on the Wyatts too.
Well, especially because Bray is going to possibly need some more Wyatt family at some point.
Yeah, he's going through these Wyatt family members pretty fast. But I think Bo and Bray would be so good together. They really would.
I think they would too. And before we get off of this match, because we'll spend about time on this match as least as possible, there is a wild card pick that Bleacher Report was doing betting odds on, and they have Finn Balor as winning it if he shows up.
I think that would be a waste.
But yeah, I think so too. I would hope that if he's going to debut, it's going to be somewhere later down the list, or a very different match, or Monday Night on Raw.
Yeah, I honestly see him coming back on Sunday, but in a very different capacity.
Okay,
yeah.
Another match that's on the pre-show, which apparently it was on the main show and they moved it, is the Cruiserweight Championship match with Bad Guy Neville against Austin Aries.
This is going to be amazing.
Who do you think is going to take it? Is Neville going to retain? Is Austin Aries is this going to be one where they mess it up and switch the title before Neville's really had it? Is it going to be something where it's the start of a multi-month feud for them?
I see this as Austin Aries' time to shine. There was no reason to bring him back at this point unless they were going to give him the belt. And because his promos were so good, his comeback was so good, it's been so strong, and they're really gaining so much steam with the Cruiserweights because of Austin Aries. You would have to be a fool to not put the belt on Austin. And even though Neville has come back in the best way possible, honestly, he was so misused before, and now he's really hit his stride. He is so good now. But he's had the belt long enough. People respect his ability. People respect his character. But I do believe that Austin needs to take it.
Okay, I can see that. The one thing that we talked before during our last episode, and we were talking about the Cruiserweight Classic and how the Cruiserweights were going to be used, and I really feel that ever since Raw took that Cruiserweight show, the Cruiserweight division, I feel like they haven't been used as well. Yeah. But then they did get 205 Live, which makes up for it. Mm-hmm. And I almost wish that they would just take the cruiserweights off of Raw completely and just have their 205 live, but...
Yes and no. Like, I can see both sides of it. Because if it weren't for Raw, I probably wouldn't have watched the cruiserweights at all.
True enough.
Because, like, I have the network, but it gets to this point where it's, like, too much wrestling. It gets to be too much. It's like, I think it's like a 7 hours if you count NXT. A 7-hour-a-week commitment to get all of the wrestling.
And 8 hours if you watch Talkin' Smack.
Right, yeah. If you watch Talking Smack, which is awesome. I love that show. But having the cruiserweights on Raw and kind of having them spill over into Raw allows that connection for the Raw fan base to start making with cruiserweights and starting to like them, starting to, really identify with them, so that they will purchase the network, so that they watch cruiserweights. So I see that as like a great marketing move and kind of a dumb time management move.
Yeah. I mean, they've got to replace all those ring ropes. I feel so bad for those people.
Isn't that crazy?
I cannot, I just can't. I can't deal with it. Like,
it
purple. Like,
my
why?
Mind.
Like the color scheme, everything. It's just, why can't you just let them wrestle in the ring?
I don't know.
Without
Like,
changing it?
I like the aesthetic. That's my thing. But thinking about them changing the ropes every time, I'm like, wow, that must be insane. Like, I know I've been there. I know that I've seen them wrestle, but somehow in my mind, I do not remember them changing the ropes because they were that fast.
Yeah, like, that's incredibly quick. I don't know how they do it.
Which kind of scares me in terms of safety, but I'm sure they know what they're doing.
Okay, so you've got Austin Aries as taking the championship.
Austin is so good.
And I have to say, whoever takes the championship, whether Neville retains it or Austin picks it up, I really hope that they give the person, at a minimum, a title reign that lasts until SummerSlam.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. They really need it right now.
All right, so now we're done with the pre-show unless something else shows up. Which, I mean, they did that with Fastlane, which was the most bonkers pay-per-view ever.
Yeah.
With all those weird things that they just decided to throw in there.
It was weird.
The next match I have is a SmackDown match, Intercontinental Championship match. Dean Ambrose as the champion, Baron Corbin as the challenger. This all started from Elimination Chamber, with Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose really getting into it. It's been built up, I think, pretty well.
Yep.
I don't like Dean as much as I used to when he was with the Shield. So I'm hoping Baron takes it. That's my pick, and I'd like to have him have a strong run at the title.
Well, I think that I am going to be the most hated person on your podcast right now. I don't like Dean Ambrose, and I don't like Baron Corbin. I don't like either of them. I think that they're both technically incapable. I think that they both have really bad characters. I think that the, like, dirty loner crazy guy, they're the same character. One is just mean or one is a lunatic. When he's not actually a lunatic, he's just dirty. But I don't know. I can't get on board with Dean. He was like the third coolest member of the Shield. And Baron Corbin, like, he just rubs me the wrong way. And I know that he's supposed to, but it's not in the way that maybe Alexa does. It's in the way that it's like, I don't want to see your face anymore because I think that you are a bad wrestler.
Oh, bad.
So I don't even care who wins it. I hope Dean retains it because I don't care. And I need a match to, like, eat and talk to friends during.
Well, I guess that's going to be your popcorn match or your bathroom break match. Or
That'll be the one for me. Like, I I can't give any care towards these two.
I will say I was really disappointed that they went with Dean to hold the Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
I loved the Miz having it, and then
Yeah, me too.
if anyone really deserved it, Dolph Ziggler would have been the better choice over Dean.
Definitely. Dolph Ziggler is down here in the Battle Royale, and he's, like, not doing anything. I guarantee he's not going to win. And he's way better than Dean or Baron. He's so much better.
Definitely.
And he really deserves it. Like, he's been working so hard and really trying to make this thing happen, but all the attention goes to Dean and Baron for some reason. Like, that's stupid.
Yeah, like Dolph just disappeared because he got angry and frustrated, and he started attacking Kalisto and Apollo Crews, and you see where those two are at too. They're all together. They'll all be in that battle royal.
Oh yeah, and they'll all be thrown over within a few minutes. Like, it's frustrating seeing these talents go to waste when Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose get all of the shots they need. Like, it's so frustrating.
Okay, let's get on. And now this next match is either going to go one of two ways. It's going to be a really great match, or it's going to be a match where no one cares because they've messed up the division so bad. And that is the Raw Tag Team Championship.
I knew you were going to say that.
Let me tell you, okay, I love the New Day. I was glad that they broke Demolition's record.
Yeah.
Period.
Yep.
They have misused and mishandled the club, a.k.a., Gallows and Anderson.
Definitely.
The way that they should have come in is the way that their characters were over in New Japan, and not the comedy heel team that is supposed to be able to beat anybody and everybody up, and they got turned into these farces. They finally picked up the tag championships, and now they're in a ladder match with Cass and Big Cass and Enzo, and then Sheamus and Cesaro.
Yes.
Now I will say that I did love Sheamus and Cesaro's learning how to be a team, and the way that they Cesaro's very clearly a face.
Yes.
Sheamus is very clearly a heel. They don't get along sometimes, but they do. They have their moments. Yeah.
Yes, it really does work for them.
So who do you want? What do you want to happen in this ladder match? Because for me, I don't care. If regardless of who takes the belts.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you on some levels. Sheamus and Cesaro are definitely the two that I believe are the best tag team on that particular match, only because of their entertainment value and the fact that Cesaro is so good that he should be in a title picture, like a solo title picture.
Absolutely.
But I want the belt to stay on Gallows and Anderson because I so badly want them to work. I want it to work because they're just hollow shells of themselves right now. Like, the Bullet Club was incredible, and it still is, but Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson are just husks of what they could be. And I like to call them the Bang Gang now, not the club. Because they're just such, bad rip-off characters of the characters that they used to be.
Right.
So I want the belts to stay on them because I just want it to work, and I want maybe Finn will come back, and maybe AJ will come to Raw, and we'll just have this nice little get-together with them. And we can have a real club, not just a duo, for once.
Right, exactly.
We really need a faction, and not just tag teams, but a real, Click.
And not the authority. Not the authority.
No, like an NWO, a Click, a Bullet Club, like something like that. We need a real faction of really cool dudes like Gallus and Anderson, but they need to like loosen the reins on them a little bit, you know?
Absolutely. When they debuted and they took out the Usos and they were just brutal to every team that they went up against, that's what they needed to be ever since, and not have gotten into the comedy routine with the New Day or whatever they did. Is just like in this match, if they keep the belts on them, I want this match to be one of those brutal ladder matches where people are cringing at what they're doing to the other teams.
I completely agree. I want the club to absolutely destroy both teams with like no sweat. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah,
not for a while, anyways.
If they're gonna go with a feel good, someone's gonna, a good team or a good moment for the fans, like to cheer. I can see them putting the belts on Cass and Enzo.
Which
to
would
get
be
that
awful. Like, please do not let that happen. Please. Please, WWE, do not let this happen. Enzo and Cass were great. They were great for the time that they first came up. NXT, they were awesome. With Carmella, even better. When they came to Raw, they were really good, and like they almost surpassed the New Day in terms of likability, which is crazy.
Right.
But since then, and like since I'm not really sure when this began for me, but I just started to dislike them, and like everything just started going downhill, and I don't like them anymore. I don't like hearing the same things over and over again. I don't like the shtick anymore. I want them to evolve. Like, Sheamus and Cesaro have been evolving, and Gallus and Anderson are stuck in this, like, pit of chains that they can't break out of. But Enzo and Cass just, stick with this thing that keeps working for them, but it's getting really boring, and it's getting really annoying, and I don't want them to win because it's just going to make more of it.
And what's funny, because I watch Raw, but I fast forward through a lot of it to find the stuff that I really want to listen to. And one of the things I found interesting is Enzo was doing his whole shtick, and Sheamus gave him the boot and like knocked him out, knocked him out, knocked him down, and the crowd chanted, "Thank you, Sheamus."
Yeah.
That is saying something right there, and if people are not listening to that, then they're going to have problems down the line.
But when does creative ever listen to the fans?
Very rarely.
They never listen. They never listen to what we want. They just think that they think that they know what we want, but they won't listen. And that might have been the best thing that Sheamus could have done for himself ever. Because as much as I like Enzo, it's grating. It's so grating now. And Cass is even worse. Like, I just don't want him to speak ever. All I remember is him going off. He was like, "You wear your pants and I'll wear my pants and we'll fight." And it's like, really? This is the best you could have done? This was it. So I'm really just hoping for the belts to stay on who they are right now.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to another Raw match. It's the championship match. I have some opinions on it, but we'll get into it. It's the Fatal 4-Way Elimination match. Bayley is the champion, women's champion, and then the challengers are Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Nia Jax. I'll start off and say I don't think Bayley should be the champion. I think that they gave it to her too soon. Her NXT run as like the perennial underdog, always losing, getting close but never getting it, and then finally like overcoming Charlotte, overcoming Becky Lynch, overcoming Sasha, taking the championship. Like, that was an amazing story, and they completely messed it up when she got onto Raw. And then for her to be the baby face that she is, like the absolute darling of the WWE fandom, and then to find out, like, number one, she took away Charlotte's like 16 straight pay-per-view wins when she won the championship, but then to win the belt with the underhandedness from Sasha, know that she got the belt that way, and then, you know, not give it back it's really hard for me to, like, see her character go from, like, peppy babyface to, wow, you're kind of, like, totally, like, I understand you didn't see it the first time, you didn't see it happen, but, oh, now you found out, you know, maybe you should do the right thing, but...
It is, it's a weird match, because I think this is a match that I agree that they have no idea what they're doing with this division, because there's, like, name another Raw woman that you've seen in the last 5 weeks.
Well, you can't because they don't show them, and I don't think they. Well, I think the other problem is that some of their Raw women have been sidelined with injuries, because I think Paige was drafted to Raw, but she's been out with a neck injury. Summer Rae has been out because she had, I believe, a neck or a back injury that she's been rehabbing. Alicia Fox went to 205 Live and hasn't come back.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is what we've got, and we've had like 5 title changes or 6 title changes since the belt showed up. Oh yeah, and
Emma.
The whole Emelina,
oh my god.
Which I read online was supposed to be like they wanted her to be a Sable type of character.
I heard that too.
And she basically said no, or that they didn't think that she could pull it off.
I heard that she couldn't pull it off.
And so they are changing her back to Emma, but still, I mean, she's been ready to wrestle for months.
It's so bad. Like,
and she's a great wrestler.
I don't even remember seeing her wrestle. I just remember her NXT days and her not knowing how to dance. That's like the last thing I remember of Emma.
Right.
And also Dana Brooke, like.
Oh yeah, I can't forget Dana.
She shows up out of nowhere.
Can you?
And then does a thing and then leaves. Like, what is going on in this division? There's 4 people that you're using constantly. Like, this is the epitome of problems that plague WWE, of only focusing on, you know, the few and leaving out the rest.
Right.
And it just becomes so monotonous, it becomes so repetitive that you just don't care anymore. Like, I liked Bayley. I still like Bayley. I do like her as a champion, but I agree that having her win in the way that she did takes away from what they're trying to do with the women's revolution, because that's such a pull back diva move.
Mhm.
And then, you know, like the last 3 Raws, it was just a Bayley-Charlotte match. And then it was a Bayley-Charlotte-Sasha match. And now it's Bayley-Charlotte, Sasha, and Nia. And it's just, there's no consequences because they're always going to be in the picture. So while I don't want to see the belt go back onto Charlotte because I've seen enough of Charlotte as champion, I also don't want to see it on Nia because I think that I think that Nia is a bad wrestler, and I think she got called up way too early. I think that her character hasn't been developed the way that it needed to be, and Sasha has kind of developed into this underhanded, like, kind of a bitchy character that nobody likes. Like, she was awesome before. Like, everybody wanted Sasha before, and now nobody wants her.
Right.
So, obviously, this all builds to, you know, the Sasha heel turn on Bayley.
Oh, yeah, that's coming.
You know, like, that's what this match is so that Sasha can take back the belt from Bayley and continue the belt triangle. So
Yeah.
I too am not excited about this match. I don't see anything good coming from it, and there might be a few good moments, but overall there's just nothing changes with them.
Who do you think is going to keep the belt? You think it's going to be Bayley?
I think it's going to be Sasha.
Do you think it's going to be Sasha?
Yeah.
Now, here's the way that I would have done it if I wanted to put the belt on Sasha. Number one, you don't make it an elimination match. You make it just a Texas tornado. The all four of them in at the same time. Mm-hmm. Whoever gets the first pinfall. And what you do is Bayley hits her Bayley to belly on whomever, but not Sasha. So it's either Charlotte or Nia. She hits the Bayley to belly, goes for the pin, and that's when Sasha does the turn, hits her bank statement, makes her tap out, and leave Bayley in the ring with that whole "oh my gosh, you betrayed me" expression as Sasha walks out with the belt.
Yeah.
But if they're going to do a turn, it's going to be after Bayley retains, or it's going to be Monday Night Raw. Is my predictions on when Sasha's going to turn. But she's going to turn, and I'd really love it if Charlotte and Sasha just team up to kind of run the division. Just every week they destroy Bayley, because Bayley's character needs to be rehabbed a little bit. Mm-hmm. And if they just destroy her, finally title defense comes and she pulls it out by the skin of her teeth, that could be all right. That would help.
That could be all right.
And no more hot potatoing the title every month.
I honestly think they just need a total refresh on this division, and after this, just bring in a whole bunch of new talent. It doesn't even. It's so convoluted now that it just doesn't. None of it even makes sense. It could be Sasha, or it could be Nia. It could be any of them, quite honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that you might be right in she might do it on Monday Night Raw, but that would leave us with such a boring, inconsequential match for WrestleMania, mm-hmm. and that's my worst nightmare is having a boring, inconsequential match at WrestleMania where it should be
right.
Everything changes. This is the time.
Exactly.
So I don't know. Maybe I honestly see it as Sasha winning only because it's clear that they want to make Nia the champ. But Sasha and Nia have to feud a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I see it going down. I'm maybe 60% on this because it's, like I said, very convoluted, and I haven't really been giving them the time of day.
And the other thing is, besides Emma, so that makes 5. Right. There's no one really in NXT besides Asuka.
Right.
To call up. There's
not ready.
no other women, and the only other women that I can think of, I think are with Impact Wrestling, Gail Kim, which I don't think she'd ever go back to the WWE. I don't know what Karma or Awesome Kong is doing, but there's not that many women wrestlers that are ready to just step onto the Monday Night Raw stage to add into this.
I did hear that they're planning on doing a women's tournament this summer.
Yes, I did hear that.
So that could be our saving grace, honestly. Otherwise, they have to pick and pull from the indies.
Right.
Which is just another that's several more years of development, which I don't want several more years of Bayley, Charlotte, Nia, and Sasha.
Yeah.
Either just put all of the women onto one show, or get more talent, because this is not going to fly anymore.
Right, and that's one of the things that I think SmackDown has done really well is
Yeah,
that like
definitely.
on the, I think is the Backlash pay-per-view, they had 3 different women's matches with 3 different storylines going on at the same time.
Yeah.
Like they've done everything that they're supposed to do right with that division, where Raw is just there's the 4 people and Dana Brooke a little bit, and thank you very much.
Right. Right.
All right. We're going to SmackDown now, which is a match that people had called for a couple months now. I was a bit disappointed to see it. And really we're going to see what happens, and it's AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I have very strong opinions about this.
Go for it. Knock yourself out.
I believe that Shane McMahon needs to check his ego at the door and get out of this match. Because AJ Styles... Okay. AJ Styles is arguably the best wrestler in the world right now.
Yes.
He is incredible and has nothing to prove. Like, first of all, he should have had the match first. He should have been the first one to have a match at WrestleMania. Because he's that good. He is such an asset to this company, and he just keeps getting stomped on. Because of some unforeseen reason, he just keeps getting shoved to, like, mid-card.
Mm-hmm.
AJ Styles deserved better than this. And I heard that Shinsuke wanted a WrestleMania match. And after Wrestle Kingdom, it would be so foolish of WWE to not have that, like, incredible match that, Kenny and Okada had.
Mm-hmm.
That was the most insane match I've watched in such a long time. And I know that AJ Styles is capable of it. And I know that Shinsuke Nakamura is capable of it. So, for WWE not to have that 5-star match and to instead put Shane McMahon in it is, like, such a slap in the face. Because where do you see Shinsuke's name on this card? Nowhere. He should have been pulled up by now. But he hasn't been. And there's no reason for it. He's unfortunately stuck facing Bobby Roode, who is also garbage, by the way. But Shane McMahon might have been good in his peak, back, he faced a ton of opponents. He did awesome things. He's done great matches. He'll always be remembered as a great wrestler and Vince McMahon's son. However, this is not his time. And it just feels like this match was such an ego boost for him. Like, this is just an ego match for him to throw himself around, get beat up, and, like, really put AJ over. But, in a sense, it's putting Shane over because he can't just step to the side for one show. Like, it just seems like Shane always has to insert himself into a match just so that he can get the shit beat out of him and look like a cool guy. Like, oh, you jumped off the cage at WrestleMania 32 and you fought The Undertaker. Like, nobody asked for that. And nobody asked for this either. And
nobody asked for him to be in the Survivor Series
match.
Just to point that one out.
The only thing I ever remember from Shane McMahon last year was him taking a Superman punch from Roman. That I was like, oh wow, I think that was real.
Yeah, I think he got knocked out from that.
It looked like it, and I was like, wow, Roman, like, that was awesome. But seeing Shane on this card gives me so much anger, and I feel like all I'm saying right now is just anger towards this card.
Well,
but
let me jump in And
Sorry,
I'll say,
I get
I'm going to give you a break on the rant so I can rant.
Okay, please do.
I love SmackDown.
Okay.
It is my favorite show of the two to watch because it's got the most wrestling, the better storylines, and it's 2 hours. AJ Styles should either A, have been going into WrestleMania as the World Heavyweight Champion,
Absolutely,
or B, been in the championship match and made it a three-way, because he deserved it. He's been the best world champion that we've had between either of the brands, over Kevin Owens as Universal Champion,
Definitely.
and we'll get to that in a minute.
Definitely.
He's done the best work across the board with John Cena, Dean Ambrose, everybody that he's faced. It has been, and not to be punny, but it's been phenomenal matches.
They have been. They really have been.
And to see him lose out on his ability, and it's not like AJ Styles has that many WrestleManias in him. He was positioned perfectly for it. And the only thing I'll say is, I'm happy that Bray Wyatt finally got his due with winning the World Championship match. I'm disappointed in the opponent. It should have been AJ Bray or AJ Bray Randy or AJ Bray Randy and Luke Harper if they wanted to really go that route.
Yeah, absolutely.
But AJ should not be in this position that he is in with Shane McMahon.
It's cheap.
And I'm not sure where they're going with it. I've heard little things that AJ's going to be switched over to Raw at some point.
Yeah, I heard that
too. I mean, I just don't get it, and there's so many more opportunities. I understand not bringing in Shinsuke just for a WrestleMania match, just to have that as his debut. I understand that they want people to get to know him and his character and everything. But at the same time, it would have been like probably the best match on the card.
It would have been. It would have been.
If AJ Styles does not win this match, or does not win this match quickly, there's going to be problems.
Absolutely. Like, if AJ does not demolish Shane, I just can't even believe it. Like, that's just not believable.
Right, because AJ, I'm quoting him here, he has been the face that runs the place on SmackDown.
He really is.
and it's been such a delight. Like, AJ Styles is one of the people, like, I didn't really know who he was. Like, I'd heard about him, but until I got to actually watch his matches, that's why I tuned into SmackDown, was for one of the reasons, AJ Styles.
Yeah, definitely. He is a huge draw.
Okay. Let's move on from the hate.
Yeah, I got a lot of passion about that one.
We've got another match that's probably going to stir up some stuff because, again, when it was announced months before, they made it official just recently, but it was announced months before on the SmackDown brand, you kind of wondered to yourself, why? Why this match? I don't understand. I don't know where they're going with it. Because one of the people has been doing their best work since being drafted to SmackDown, and that is The Miz. Whether you like him or you don't like him, he has been doing a phenomenal, not to steal, AJ Styles' word or whatever.
Just short of phenomenal.
I mean, his mic work, his work with the Intercontinental Championship, the way that he and Maurice played off each other, he's another one that should be, hopefully this coming year, inserted into a World Championship picture again with the work that he's done. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. But this mixed tag match is John Cena and Nikki Bella against The Miz and Maurice. I can't say much for Maurice because she's not been wrestling for at least 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I'm concerned on that angle. Because Nikki can wrestle, she's gotten better over time, but the mic work between the two of them oh my goodness. I mean, this started way back with The Miz tearing into Daniel Bryan on Talking Smack. You heard about that.
Oh yeah.
On different websites, and you had to
everywhere.
Go check that out, and it was
ESPN.
everywhere. And it made you tune into Talking Smack to see what was next. And I don't know where they're going with that, because like Daniel Bryan said, in another year or two, I'll see you in a ring or whatever, which you never know if he's like just saying something or if he's going to eventually try and do another comeback if WWE will allow it.
I think Daniel's trying to go to New Japan.
But this match has gone from, why are they doing it? I don't care, to, oh my goodness, I want to see John Cena and The Miz get into it, because there is some level of truth that when The Miz talks, and there's a lot of wrestling podcasts. I listen to a few of the different ones, and there is a lot of talk about how John Cena keeps people down, how John Cena has gotten people fired or gotten rid of, including there was talk that John Cena tried to get Randy Orton fired years ago. And it's very interesting to finally have this kind of crossover, like almost Attitude Era smack talking between the two of them.
It really comes full circle, doesn't it?
I am looking forward to this match, and I know it's not going to happen because it's just not, but I really want The Miz to win.
Okay. There's a couple ways to look at it, though.
I'll flip it to you now.
So, I am very excited about this match. I am just like you. Like, when I heard it, I was like, what? No. Like, please, no. I really wanted John to face Undertaker, actually. I wanted John to face Undertaker and retire him. So that he could also somehow, some way through that, he would also break the record. But that obviously did not happen. And this was a very strange turn. The Miz, since the Daniel Bryan incident on Talking Smack, has really got a lot of steam. The Miz has been, I agree, he's been so great since the draft. He's really settling into this like kind of jerk character, more jerk than he was before.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But like at a real sense, like at a very real level. I'm still a John Cena fan at heart. Like, I love the guy. It's just impossible to not respect him.
Right, because I mean, he has over the past, let's say, 10 years, 7 years, really has been the person that has run a schedule for the WWE,
Absolutely.
Carried it on its back. I mean, there's been the rough periods where, I mean, there was a definite decline in the WWE.
Definitely.
But
he's
I mean, there's his work ethic, his rehabbing after injury, everything about him, he does absolutely incredibly well.
Yes, absolutely. I completely agree. And I understand. I totally get why people don't like him. I completely understand. But I find it hard to not respect him, and if he wants someone gone, like, I completely understand that, because he has been there so long, and if someone's causing him troubles, like, it makes sense that management would be like, oh, well, do we keep this new guy who's like, or do we keep John Cena? Like,
right, exactly.
That makes sense. But at the same time, like, I completely understand and agree with what The Miz is saying, or is like trying to convey in this storyline, because it's very much like it actually comes full circle because of John Cena facing The Rock several years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And it was very similar in the fact that John was like, you are a part-timer, you don't care about us, we're here holding it down, and like, you're never here. You only come back for big pay-per-views, but I'm here working all the time. And that's what The Miz is trying to say to John now. So it's come full circle. John is not part-timer now because he is around quite a bit, to me at least. But it's his promo this week on SmackDown, this past week pre-WrestleMania,
right,
was fire. Oh my god, it was amazing.
Well, that was like Doctor of Thugonomics, John Cena.
Oh my god. Yeah, but okay, he was Doctor of Thugonomics when he was like just kind of like bantering back and forth with the Miz. Like he was just sort of like kind of like poking at him.
Yep.
And then he really got into him. He like really stared him down, and he dropped the accent. He like actually stared into the Miz and was like, "Don't you ever say these things about me." Like, oh my god, it was fire. It was amazing. I was so hyped. Which is why I love John Cena, because he can drop it so easily and get so serious, and you were like, oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Right.
Like he's like your scary uncle. You know, like I can't wait for this match, and there's two ways this can go, obviously. And you know, John Cena and Nikki Bella win. I hear that there will be the proposal at the end, which will get me all sorts of feely like that. I'm very invested in. Very invested in them. So it's like this grandiose win, and then you get a proposal at the end, like it's huge. Or they lose. Maybe the Miz and Maurice actually do win, and it is a callback to Ultimate Warrior facing Macho Man at, I think, WrestleMania 7, when Macho Man lost, but he also got back Elizabeth that night.
Right.
So
right.
I'm thinking that maybe there's this callback to the Miz and Maurice win. You know, they go off and do their thing, whatever, who cares? Because they're not the focus of the story. They're just sort of plot points. At the end, John Cena and Nikki Bella, defeated, still get a proposal, because after everything, Nikki is the most important thing to him. So
we'll see.
I think there is a chance for Miz and Maurice to win, only because it would be a better plot for them to win, and for John Cena and Nikki to lose.
Yeah.
So,
Now, what about the rumor that this is Nikki's last match? What do you think about that?
Oh, God, I hope not. I hope not. I love Nikki. I love her, and she just came back. Why would she leave?
That's the thing, is that that's the rumor going around, is that she wants to spend more time with John, because he's going to be taking another hiatus for a couple months coming up. I don't know if he's doing another movie.
Probably doing a movie.
Or, I know he already did American Grit Season 2, I believe. He did the filming for that. But I think he's got another movie role coming up to where he's going to be out for a couple months.
I don't know. That I haven't heard. John going to do another movie doesn't surprise me, but Nikki just got back, and she made such a big deal about this being, her big comeback. And if she leaves now, like, it was all for naught. Like, what? That's the end of it? Like, that's all it led up to was a proposal at WrestleMania? Like, that's not fair to the fans. That's not fair to her. That's just a letdown on her character, because she's so good. Like, that would be a disservice to Nikki Bella, I think.
Okay, well, it's definitely. I think that's going to be one of the matches on the card that everyone's going to be watching to see what happens.
That has got me all sorts of feely. I'm going to be crying.
Now we're going to go back to the Raw side of things. We're getting away from the awesome stuff of SmackDown, and we're going to talk about the match that almost didn't happen.
Okay.
with Seth Rollins and Triple H.
Uh-huh.
They've been building the match since way before Universal Championship, I believe.
It has been, I think, 3 years in the making, this match.
It's been building, and then Seth got hurt, and then he came back, and then he did legitimately get hurt again at the hands of Samoa Joe when Samoa Joe debuted.
Yeah.
I think more of a fluke accident than anything.
Yeah.
But Seth Rollins versus Triple H. I have to say Seth, in hopes that he does a complete, because Seth had been on the whole, he's not a good guy, he's still like in that
kind of gray area
phase, that gray area, like he really should have been a good guy, but he's really still being, like with his moveset and everything, is still doing the heel type of stuff. But I really hope he wins. And that's all I can say, is that I hope he wins, and I hope that we get away from having Hunter show up every WrestleMania.
Hunter is so much like Shane, where he cannot put his ego to the side for one WrestleMania. I also obviously want Seth to win. He is my main man. He is my husbando. I will forever and always support Seth Rollins no matter what he does. And I think this is a good chance that he will win. Like I said, this match has been building for two years because he got hurt last year, so he missed Mania.
Yep.
And even before then, they were still building to it because that was the plan all along, was to have Seth beat his maker.
Right.
But Seth getting hurt was obviously not in the plans and has been tragic. Nothing short of tragic.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think his injury was as intense as they made it out to be. Personally,
oh no,
obviously, because he's like doing kick flips and shit. Like he's fine. But I love the story line that they're going for of this like Triple H just being Triple H and consistently an awful person to deal with. And Seth kind of like coming to realize himself and Seth in his character coming to realize himself and realizing that he doesn't like who he's been. He doesn't like that he's been a pawn, that he's been used and abused.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Seth's character has grown and evolved so well, and it's really aged so well since his Shield days. Like he started as this like really, kind of rambunctious, like very for lack of a better term, balls to the wall character.
Right.
And he just always going and always like just doing whatever it took to get there, not realizing that the chances and the things that he was taking were not the right things to be doing. Even though it got him to the place that he wanted, it wasn't through the means that he needed. So the ultimate face turn of Seth Rollins is like it's finally the end to a huge chapter in Seth Rollins. And to be finally facing Triple H is like so bittersweet to me because I love Seth Rollins as a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He was great. Because he's gonna be a totally different character after this. Like he's just gonna be different. Which is fine. I will love Seth Rollins no matter what he does. But this is going to be either a really bad match or a really amazing match. And
I hope it's an amazing match.
I hope it's amazing. I really do. I think this is also another chance for Finn to show up.
Right? I was going to ask because, between Samoa Joe, Kevin Owens, though he has his own thing going on, which we haven't even gotten to yet, and Finn, I mean, there's a possibility that one of those two could transition into that match finally, or that role that Hunter has been occupying.
Yes. This is another match that I've kind of like formulated two different ends in my mind for. And one of them involves Finn, one doesn't. Because there's like, who knows where Finn will show up, if he does show up and doesn't wait for Raw.
Mm-hmm.
But it seems like either Seth gets absolutely beaten and just destroyed in the ring, and Finn has to show up and sort of be the saving grace for Seth, which is like, oh, so ironic. Which then catapults Triple H versus Finn. Which, of course Triple H is going to push himself. Like, of course he's going to do that. Or he doesn't show up and Seth beats Triple H and is finally free of this, like, poison in his life and becomes this new character altogether. Yeah, that's kind of how I see it. I kind of, as much as I don't want to see Seth get beaten, I do want to see Finn come in. And, like, I want there to be some sort of, like, partnership between them.
Okay.
If they could just all join the Bullet Club, like the fake Bullet Club together, that would be great. If I could just have, like, a Seth, Finn, AJ, Gallus, Anderson faction, that'd be my thing.
Well, first they got to get rid of the Authority, and then they can start having like a heel faction.
But
do
how do
something
you get rid of the Authority? They run the show.
I know, and that's another thing. Like, who's going to be the new general manager on Raw? But I mean, we don't even need to get there.
Yeah, that's later.
That's later. That's another episode. Yeah. That's like when we follow up in SummerSlam when we talk about WrestleMania. So the next match is a Raw match, but it's kind of like, I mean, I'll call it a Raw match, because Undertaker goes where Undertaker wants to go.
He does, apparently.
And it's Undertaker against Roman Reigns, which started off at Royal Rumble with Reigns eliminating Undertaker from the match, and they had their stare down.
Yeah.
It's giving the fans at least the position of getting to boo Roman Reigns to their heart content.
It's so polarizing, isn't it? This match.
It is.
Because
go ahead.
I started off hating this match. I was like, why are we doing this? But I actually love it now.
What do you love about it? What is it?
God, I'm such a mark. I'm waiting. Okay, so I am actually expecting the Seth Rollins face turn in exchange for the Roman Reigns heel turn.
Which needs to happen.
It's gonna happen. Like oh God, he's so good when he's a heel. Oh my God. They have been, like, hinting to him, like, every now and again he really gets, like, heelish. And, like, people go nuts when he goes that way. And it's just impossible. Like, how do you face the Undertaker and not be a heel? You have to be a heel if you're facing Undertaker. Like, you're not gonna be liked. You know?
Exactly. Like, anyone that's going against the Undertaker at this point is going to be the one that's booed unless it was someone like, say, John Cena, AJ Styles. There's a few others where it would have been a split crowd.
Yeah.
Because they respect the person that Undertaker is facing.
Definitely.
Who do you want to win?
I don't know. This one, I have no idea. But I think that Undertaker should win because he's the Undertaker, and I don't want to see Roman win against the Undertaker. Like, that doesn't seem right to me. That doesn't feel right. Doesn't sound right. And I think that The Undertaker, no matter how feeble and old he is getting, and like how sad it is to see him so old, I still think that he's like, you know, holding up pretty well. And I think having The Undertaker chokeslam Roman Reigns was like the most incredible moment of like wrestling this month. And I'm very excited for this match. I think that I am in the minority with this because not many people like Roman Reigns, but I believe in the man. Yeah, I don't blame people for not liking Roman, but I feel like it's almost become a cool thing to hate him because it's just like you're booing for the sake of booing at that point. Like Roman Reigns, especially in his Shield days, was great. He was awesome, and he definitely like had a bit of a dip afterwards, and like kind of lost who he was as a character.
Right.
And I think that he's finally realizing himself as a character now. I'm not really sure when this started to happen for me, but one night I was like, I think I like Roman Reigns. I think I like him because every now and again he just gets so mad and so crazy, and like you're just like, oh yeah, Roman, like get crazy, just get crazy. And it's so exciting to watch him sometimes. But if he would just stay that way, he could be amazing. And I know that the only thing holding him back from a heel turn is Vince McMahon himself. So
right.
I don't know. I think he should lose, and I think that the next night he should come on Raw and be like, you know what? I don't need to do any of this for you people. I have done nothing but try to make you like me. I've come here week after week. Like, just go full Rock. You know, like, just follow the Rock's footsteps. It works.
Absolutely. If that's one thing that he could take away, I mean, he's just... I mean, they've got to pull the trigger at some point, which, again, if they don't, if they're not listening to the same stuff that we're listening to, it's going to be a problem.
Definitely.
But what do you think about this is, again, a recent thing that's been going around, is that this is potentially Undertaker's last match.
Yeah, I've heard that. I have heard it.
So, it'll be sad to see him go, but I mean,
I don't think that it's the right choice, honestly. I understand why people are saying that, but it doesn't make sense in kayfabe for him to go this weekend. Like, yes, there's the whole storyline of 29 holes and you know, digging your grave for Roman. Like, maybe Roman is the one to put the Undertaker in his own grave. But as a character, I don't think that the Undertaker will be retired by Roman because WrestleMania isn't the right place for it. It has to go, like, somehow they need to bring it to SummerSlam, and I don't know who needs to win the belt, but I think somehow John Cena needs to be able to start a storyline with Undertaker so that they can end it at Survivor Series. Where it does make sense to retire him because he premiered at Survivor Series. They always make a big deal about it. You know, I was just thinking that, like, it would be awesome to see him retire at Survivor Series because that's where he debuted. And I, you know, as a kid, I remember that pay-per-view because leading up to it, they were like, oh, Ted DiBiase's got this mystery man, And, you know, as a kid growing up during that time, like, all you had was the weekly show or, you know, the bi-weekly show, whatever. Right. And there was no internet. There was just your friends talking, and all I had was WWF at the time. Right. And I made my parents go to the cable company, buy the paper, buy that you had to have that special box to be able to order pay-per-views. And then I paid them, I think it was like $40 at the time, to watch
that pay-per-view and to see Undertaker come out and just destroy the other team was, I mean, that's like one of those moments that you always remember for the rest of your life.
Absolutely.
So I'd love to see him go out the way that he came in, but I don't know if his hip is going to last that long.
I also don't know if his hip will last that long. I don't know if his body can take it. But WWE has always been about ceremonial exits. They've always been about, these, like, formalities. And I strongly believe that The Undertaker can hold on for another 6 months or so, I think it is, until Survivor Series. And he doesn't need to do that much. Like, he really doesn't need to do anything except for show up.
Exactly. Show up and talk and be ominous, and that's about it.
And, like, John Cena is a great opponent because he'll take care of Undertaker. Like, he's so experienced. Actually, AJ even would be good for this, too, because they're so good at keeping their opponents safe during their matches and, like, taking care of them, making sure that they don't actually hurt them. So that's why I'm a little worried about Roman Reigns, because he is kind of new compared to John or AJ, and he doesn't have nearly the record or he just doesn't have anything to support him being the one to retire the Undertaker. It doesn't make sense. So I'm holding out hope for the Survivor Series retirement.
We shall see.
Yeah.
We've got 3 more matches to cover. So
sorry, I talked so much.
Oh no, it is okay. So we'll stay on Raw, and this is another match that I'm really looking forward to. Although I wish it was under different circumstances, and that is the U.S. Championship match: Chris Jericho versus Kevin Owens.
Heartbreaker.
This is another match where the same thing that I'm going to say about AJ, or that I said about AJ Styles. Kevin Owens should have been going into WrestleMania as the Universal Championship.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This should have been Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, either for both titles or just Jericho going for the Universal Championship. Their storyline deserved it. I understand. I understand the thought process behind taking the Universal Championship off of Kevin Owens. I don't like how it got handled. I don't like who it's on.
Me too.
And I've heard that Jericho's going on tour during the summer.
Yeah.
So
I've heard that too.
the only logical answer is Kevin Owens.
Yeah.
For the win. I think maybe Sami Zayn shows up at some point, but realistically, I think Kevin Owens, like, this is going to be one of those really good matches that everyone's going to talk about, but Kevin Owens is definitely going to walk out with the belt.
Yeah, I would agree. I want Jericho to win, personally, because, obviously I'm so prone to the face heel logic that I want Jericho to win. But because of the logistics of him going on tour with his band, it's clear that Jericho is leaving us I think it's in May he's going. So
I think
this
so.
makes sense that it will be his exit, and therefore Kevin Owens wins. But, like, I don't really know what they're going to do with him afterwards. Yeah, there's Sami Zayn, but they've already done that. Like, it's played out.
Right.
We don't need it again. But the true end of the Best Friends is honestly the most heartbreaking match of this card. Like, I just don't want to see this.
And frankly, this is the best setup for any of the Raw WrestleMania matches on the card. Is this setup? And I think Jericho even talked about it at one point, saying that he wasn't contracted to go this long to WrestleMania, but they kept doing this great stuff, so he kept having like his contract renewed, his contract renewed. But I'm looking forward to it. I wish that Owens was the Universal Champion.
Yeah.
The only other thing I could see if Sammy's not involved, is possibly Samoa Joe getting involved.
Well, yeah.
Because Samoa Joe and Owens have been doing like that whole team up underneath the Authority thing.
I think it's gonna end with like I think there's gonna be kind of a mess. It's gonna devolve into a brawl. Like Sammy will show up, Samoa Joe is gonna show up. It'll end up in like another tag match or something, But
I hope not.
It's just I don't know how there could be a good end to this match. Even though I know that the match will be good. It's just gonna be very bittersweet to watch.
Right.
And I feel like there's gonna be some shenanigans because they've been pulling so many shenanigans this a couple past weeks.
Right.
So it just seems like it's going to be a continuation of past Raws. Or who knows, maybe Jericho wins and he just, vacates the belt. That would be optimal for me. I like Kevin, but I want Jericho to win, just for justice sake.
I am glad that Kevin Owens has reverted back to like that mean, vicious Kevin Owens.
Yeah, he's way better.
I really like that. But I mean, looking forward, he wins the belt. I don't know where he goes.
What does he
with the championship?
Yeah.
Who does he feud with? What does he get in on? Is he part of the Authority, working under Stephanie, with Samoa Joe and like say Finn Balor if he comes back, and if they're like a trio? Like it's really, I mean that's always something that's great about the Raw and SmackDowns after WrestleMania is you kind of get a sense of where they could be going.
Yeah.
But
this one I have no idea.
I just wish he was Universal Champion.
Yeah, at least he would have somewhere to go afterwards. I'm just worried that Kevin Owens is going to suffer like a kind of a not a losing streak, but he'll just get forgotten for a while.
Right. Well, like Dolph Ziggler or I mean you can name any number of people where it's like, where did they go and why aren't we seeing them on the TV because they're better than that.
Right, exactly. And I don't want that to happen to Kevin because he's way too good for that.
Okay, now we're finally into the main championship matches, and we've kind of touched on both of them. We'll start with SmackDown first. Randy Orton, challenger, against Bray Wyatt, champion. I'm not, again, we've already talked about this. I'm not a fan of the match.
No.
I am praying that they don't give the belt to Randy.
Oh my God!
Bray Wyatt, after having suffered in the desert for so long with losing to Undertaker, losing to Cena, losing like all these high-profile matches, finally he got the belt. And I mean, they need to have some long-term champions. Kevin Owens held that Universal Championship a long time. AJ Styles held that championship a long time. I need Bray Wyatt to hold this one at least until SummerSlam, and I don't want Randy Orton to be another champion.
I think that Randy Orton was the poorest choice. I completely agree with you. When Randy won Royal Rumble, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
When Randy won, I was like, this is going to be the worst WrestleMania ever. Because I can't stand watching Randy Orton. Like, he has one cool move. He's just boring. He's boring. And the whole story, like, it's been kind of weird, right? Like, the weirdness to it has been okay. Randy joining the Wyatts just kind of weird, and for him to like fully join the Wyatts and then only a week later turn on them was so contrived, and it just seemed silly. It all seemed so silly. And then the only good part of this that came out of it was the house burning. Like, I will forever use Randy Orton burning a house down on every internet argument that I get into from now on. But Bray Wyatt has suffered so much. The Wyatt family just always consistently mediocre, kind of. Like, they just never really get to what they need to be.
Right.
And that's, also the fault of WWE creative. That's the fault of I can't even remember the names. Luke Harper and Eric Rowan. I'll never remember Eric Rowan's name. Like, both of them are kind of forgettable. They don't get to do much because the focus is on Bray.
Right.
So it just never really developed into a good thing ever. And then and then Randy got involved. And it had to be about Randy. All the time it had to be about Randy. And then it just got weird. It got really strange. And I think that there could be some good that comes out of this, though. Because I think that Bray will retain. I think that Randy is going to lose because Randy has nothing to gain out of being champ again. He just has nothing to gain. But Bray Wyatt has a lot to gain because I don't know if you've been seeing, but the WWE Twitter account has been blowing up Matt Hardy and his brother. And there's a lot of rumors that they might be coming back this weekend.
Right.
And
I've been hearing that because they are in Orlando.
In Orlando. They are not signed anymore. Like, what?
Well, they're technically signed to Ring of Honor. However, there are apparently possibilities that they can work with the WWE as well.
So how good would a Wyatt Hardy feud be? Like, that would sell me on the Wyatts so hard, especially if Bo joins. Like, if it was Bo and Bray versus the Hardy brothers, like, oh my god, that would sell me so hard. Because it's like the weird, creepy hillbillies versus the wacky, weird hillbillies.
Right.
And that would be so good. I would watch that until it ended. I would love it.
I mean, I don't have much more to say about this match other than I hope Randy doesn't get it. I hope Bray retains. Yeah. Again, I hope he goes through at least until SummerSlam as the champion.
Yeah.
Or even longer than that. I don't know where he's going to go as far as if he retains. I don't know who he's going to feud with beyond AJ if AJ stays there, or The Miz is a potential person,
right.
Or if Shinsuke comes in and is put right in that type of championship level match.
I don't.
It'll be interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see when Eric Rowan comes back, if they just default put him back in. I know Luke Harper did an interview saying that he was really happy to finally not be in the Wyatt family because it allows him to grow and do his own thing rather than just be in the background.
Right. He's not a support character anymore.
Which, I mean, he's had some really great matches recently, and it's been a pleasure to see like a big guy just do what he does, like not only brawl but like wrestle.
Yeah, definitely. The few drop kicks that I've seen from him have been pretty amazing. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know.
And now we go back to...
Also, just to cliff note that, AJ Styles versus Bray Wyatt still needs to happen because the whole point of AJ's match is he didn't get his rematch clause. So,
exactly.
Bray and AJ still need to happen. So,
right. Let's talk about that very quickly. They're very wishy-washy on the whole you need to defend your title in 30 days thing. They took the belt off Naomi because they said you can't defend your title in the 30-day period. Other times, the title goes undefended for months at a time, and they don't care. And then there's always, like, the rematch clause that, it's conveniently forgotten. I mean, if I was a champion and I lost, I would be exercising my rematch
That's what he
clause, and it
said.
wouldn't be the exactly, and it wouldn't be the day after either. It'd be like, no, I'm going to have a rematch when I say
Yeah,
so.
I mean, AJ kind of came on the next night and was like, I want it right now. And they were like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, go do your own thing, AJ. We'll take care of it.
Go be in the background of the posters again.
Yeah, exactly. So, I don't know. I do think that there's potential for Bray to retain, only because I think that him and AJ still need a real feud. And, like, AJ versus Randy would be awful. That would be so boring.
Yes. I agree.
Yeah.
All right. We're back to Raw. We're back to probably the match that's going to close WrestleMania. I'm not happy that it's involving the Universal Championship, as I've made clear before. I'm not happy that Goldberg is the champion because that's ridiculous. And he gave an interview, I believe I looked at it today, or it might have been yesterday. And number one, he said he's miserable because he's having to do all this training to, like, just be in shape.
Yeah.
However, he also said during his training that he's been doing since before Survivor Series, he has not taken one bump during all of his training.
You took a bump from Brock Lesnar.
He said he has not taken any bumps during training, and I am. He said it's definitely going to probably be like a bloody match, and I want Brock to destroy Goldberg so quickly. And I don't like Brock because I don't like Brock as a champion, as a part-time person. If they can re-sign him to do a year where he's defending that title every month, then hooray for that. But
I mean,
I'm not happy with this match, and I just want Brock to just destroy Goldberg within like a minute.
I think that you will be very happy because I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Goldberg can't, his endurance levels are so low that he can't, like, hold on for more than a couple minutes in a match. Like, he just can't. And Brock, like, we've all seen him wrestle. It's not that interesting. Like, he'll just, it's the same problem that Goldberg has. Like, he has two moves. You know,
right.
He suplexes you and then he F5s you. And these two are just two sides of the same coin, the same boring coin, where it's just not interesting anymore. And Goldberg should have, first of all, never come back. And
agreed.
Sure, like, him beating Brock in, like, what is it, a minute 26 seconds? I don't remember.
Something like that, yep.
That was great. That was super cool. Awesome. Go away now.
Exactly.
But to have really drawn it out this far and had all of these in-ring meetings and, like, stare downs, it just takes away from the rest of the matches, because the rest of the matches are going to be so good compared to that. And Goldberg shouldn't have the title because that's still, like, Kevin Owens should still have it. He didn't do anything for it except for show up and do his two moves. And it's just, it just seems so, like, demoralizing, and it just sort of takes away some of the legitimacy of the event, to put these two part-timers that are old, that are past their primes, that can't last more than 5 minutes at a time. Like, that should not be a main event in any capacity. And Brock is going to win. There's no doubt about Brock winning. Like, Goldberg is not going to win.
Absolutely.
There's no way. He's going to hold on to the belt for another, like, 3 months? No. He's leaving. There's no way. And also, he was only scheduled for 13 appearances on Raw, so he's done. Therefore, Brock wins, and retains the title for another year, like just like last time. Brock is going to retain for another year.
That is what I've heard. That's what I've heard, is that they're going to build up Brock again to be that, no one can take him down. And then I've heard that the next year's main event is penciled in as Brock versus Roman.
Well, okay, well,
to get Roman over.
Let's just repeat history here. That was one of the greatest moments of WrestleMania history. And only because Seth was there to save that match.
Right.
Like, I don't want another year of Brock as champion. I don't want that. Bring someone else in. Give it to Shinsuke. Give it to anybody. Anybody else but Brock. Because he's boring. He's played out. He's never there. And even Paul Heyman promos can't make him interesting now.
No, and that's the thing, is that Paul Heyman has been doing so much of the heavy lifting that you get tired of it.
He is trying so hard to make this match good, and it's not working. Mm-hmm. It's just not working. Like, I was watching Refresher, like I was just refreshing my memory on everything that's been happening, and I got to the Brock part, and it was just, I just had to look at my phone. I was so bored because I didn't care. So unfortunately, the main event I think is actually the weakest match, next to Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin.
Okay.
But I think it'll be quick.
Yeah, that is the one saving grace if it goes on last, is it better be quick.
I think it'll be quick, just to keep it balanced. I think they at least understand that the fiasco of the original Brock Goldberg match cannot happen again.
Absolutely, and they don't have Steve Austin to even save it as a referee. Like, you have, the only thing you can do in this situation is Brock go out there and just destroy Goldberg, and that's it. That's all you can have. And if you don't have that, I mean, I don't know what to say, and I'm not looking forward to a year of Brock being champion, and I'm not looking forward to, if it really becomes Roman versus Brock, I'm not looking forward to that WrestleMania headliner.
We're doomed.
I mean, maybe SmackDown will save us with wrestling, and good storylines and stuff.
Anything would be better. Anything but you, Brock. Anything but you.
Anything. All right, Tali. Well, we finally made it through. I mean, I think it is 14 matches that we talked about. I know that everyone's going to be sitting at the, it's called Camping World Stadium now. They'll be sitting there for about 6 hours, probably more than that, to go through all of this. Really? Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, because I know it's 4 hours, or it's supposed to be 4 hours for the main, and probably 2 hours.
6 hours.
For the kickoff, so 6 hours. They'll probably do some other stuff beforehand. Yeah. But, any final thoughts on this year that has been wrestling since we talked between SummerSlam and to WrestleMania? Anything that you wanna throw out there?
Bring up Shinsuke and bring back Finn. That's all I want. If you're listening, WWE, bring back Finn. Bring back Shinsuke. Just.
Well, Finn's been wrestling on the house show.
Spoilers,
so
Triple H on Twitter. the photos of Finn giving the Bullet Club the Triple H.
Too Sweet.
Oh my God! Fucking spoilers. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
He'll save the day, and I don't know. I think there's plenty. I think it's a very balanced card. I think that it's going to be a great show no matter what. I hear that there's going to be a roller coaster. So I don't drive by the stadium. I don't live close enough to just casually drive by, but I've been seeing the pictures. Yeah. And if they're building a stadium or a roller coaster, the only thing I have to say is
I hope no one's on the roller coaster because I can't imagine someone building a roller coaster that quickly.
Someone's going to be on the roller coaster.
And being safe with that. You know, if anyone's going to be on it, it's going to be the New Day because they're the hosts of the WrestleMania.
That any surprise entries come in on a roller coaster.
Oh my gosh, that'd be the most ridiculous thing ever.
It's the ultimate thrill ride, David.
Oh, yes, please point that out again for me. The ultimate thrill ride.
Don't forget, it's the ultimate thrill ride. WrestleMania 33.
Okay.
That's it.
All right, Tali. So, for those of you, or for those who have not listened to your previous episode, which is episode 13, which you'll hear Tali talk about wrestling and old school gaming, like PlayStation 1 and 2
Love
gaming. And we talked about you're a cosplayer and you travel all over the world. Mm-hmm. And what else did we talk about?
I feel like it was just cosplay, gaming, and wrestling.
It was wrestling, classic gaming, and classic gaming and cosplay. So it's a great episode. Tali was super awesome in joining me, and I was so happy. You know, there's a couple different choices I had for people I wanted to talk about wrestling with, and I really wanted to have it be you. And I'm so
awesome.
I'm so happy that we got to do this for. Almost 2 hours here.
Oh man, I could talk about it forever, but I don't want.
I
don't want the listeners to be too spoiled on our insider knowledge.
That's right. So for everyone listening, where are the best places that they can go and check you out?
The best place to find me is on my website, www.talixoxo.com. Or you can check out my social, which is Super Taunt on Twitter and Instagram, or TaliXOXO on Facebook.
And let me tell you something that you posted before we started that you were going to be coming on the show to talk to me, and holy cow, you tagged me in it, and super appreciative of that. And then I kept getting notifications of likes and retweets, and I was like,
yeah.
Your social, you have a very large social media presence.
I have a good size, but honestly, I just have really great fans who are really into the stuff that I'm also into, and they know that I'm just going to talk about wrestling the whole time. So, you know, I'm very appreciative that they support me so much, and all they want to talk about is wrestling. So I'm not surprised about that at all.
And for everyone listening, just as a final note, Tali is a cosplayer, which I just mentioned it a few moments ago, and she has cosplayed John Cena. And if you would like to go see the pictures of her, you can find it on the Tales from the Fandom Facebook page or website, or on Tali's social media and on her website. And you'll get to see her as John Cena, as well as she has someone else with her doing a Roman Reigns.
My beautiful friend Vanessa Wedge as Roman Reigns. Yep. We are wrestling buddies. We watch it all the time together.
So I think if you guys have time, go check it out. I know probably once I post this episode up and post the picture on the Facebook page, there will be many likes.
It is.
All across the internet.
It's one of my favorite costumes to wear now. I love being John Cena, but I have a new contender in the works that might take that spot. So if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram or any of that, you're going to be seeing a brand new wrestler very soon.
Awesome! I'm excited to see what you.
It's going to be great. I promise.
All right, Tali. Let's do this. I'll probably send you an email on Sunday, either with lots of caps locks. Either way, either happy or upset about things.
Let the hate.
But thank you so much.
Thank you for
having me.
Thank
you so much for doing this. And I'm always on the lookout for something else. So we'll be talking.
Anytime you want to talk some wrestling, I am here to talk about it. So maybe let's plan something for SummerSlam.
All right, well, we'll have to schedule
Sounds good.
that.
Thank you so much for having me. It's always such a pleasure to be on your podcast, and it was awesome talking wrestling with you for like 2 hours.
Thank you for listening to Tales from the Fandom. Subscribe to us on iTunes or your podcast app of choice. Follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Tales from the Fandom to see photos, links, leave feedback, and check out upcoming guests. If you'd like to be a guest, email David at talesfromthefandom@gmail.com.